and founder of Breaking Down Barriers A.S.A.P. And it doesn't mean what you think it means. The A.S.A.P. stands for Activating Strengths and Purpose. And that is a journey, and it does take time. I am a life coach and consultant, and I want to talk today about what life coaching is and what it is not. When I've told people that I'm a life coach, they're like, well, what is that? What do they do? Oh, that's therapy. Well, life coaching is not therapy. Therapy looks at where you were and how you got to where you are today. And life coaching looks at where you are and where you want to be. Therapy looks often gives you a diagnosis. Life coaching does not. We help you to set goals. We help you to be accountable when you're trying to move forward. Those are the kinds of things. We're a coach. And when you think about life in general, we have coaches for everything else. For academics, we have coaching for health, we have coaching for physical health, and sometimes for mental health and even nutrition. But then there's that other little component that's missing that's just called life. And historically, we've had a village. We had elders around us. We had our community. But as society changed and we became much more mobile, life coaching became that kind of missing piece. And so I decided to go into that. Now, just a little background about myself. I have been an educator for 40 years and I retired from Dade County Public Schools. And I was a music teacher first, and music is my first love. And then I went into counseling for 30 years. But while in counseling, I noticed there were people that needed some type of support, but didn't necessarily have a diagnosis. I didn't know what life coaching was either. But as I moved further into my career, I heard about this life coaching thing. And so I started reading more about it. And when I found out that that's kind of the bridge, so life coaching is what I decided to go into. I do have the mental health background, and that can be an asset because there are times that coaching is not enough. We need to address the mental health diagnosis component first and to be medically compliant if necessary. And when that happens, I will let you know because I have the experience to know diagnosis when I see them, even though I do not diagnose as a life coach. Life coaching is what it is. You know, it's a process. It doesn't happen in a minute and it doesn't happen in a month. It usually happens over a period of time. There are life coaches who focus on many different things. I focus on two things: mindset and resilience. And mindset is the way you think about things. And resilience is your ability to bounce back when something happens that's adverse, doesn't go your way. And I have learned that many people get stuck and they're like, I don't know how to move forward. I don't know what to do. That's when your coach comes in. And we meet and we talk about maybe what your goals could be and what your fear is. And as a life coach, there are two things that we say about fear that I say at Breaking Down Barriers. And fear is false evidence appearing real. And that may mean thoughts that we've had that originated from our past that sound very real to us. And we challenge those thoughts. But also, through the coaching process, we learn that fear can also be face everything and rise. And so, as a life coach, we want you to move from false evidence appearing real to facing everything and rise. That is our goal. Now, that journey looks unique to every person that is there, but the goal is basically the same. Another reason I use barrier breakers, I think about that concept of barrier breakers and I hear them all the time. I can hear in a crowd when someone is talking and they are a barrier breaker, even if they don't know it yet. So, what is a barrier breaker? People ask. Barrier breakers are often the first one in their families or their communities to do something that maybe hasn't been done before. And because it hasn't been done, families or communities are uncomfortable. So they may not get the support. They may hear things like, why do you want to do something like that? Or, we don't do that. Or you're doing too much. Why do you want to do that? That's a barrier breaker. But the power in being a barrier breaker is when you break something, it's in pieces, right? And so, as a barrier breaker, we take those pieces and we decide which pieces we're going to keep and which pieces we're going to discard or throw away or are not beneficial to us. And we decide which pieces. And so we take the beneficial pieces and we build a bridge. That is the bridge to our future and the bridge so others can follow behind us. That's what barrier breakers are. So if you take a moment and you think, you've probably heard of someone, you go, I know a barrier breaker. Sometimes barrier breakers may even be seen as the quote unquote black sheep in the family, but that's not necessarily true. Barrier breakers think differently. They have a different level of curiosity. They have a different level of determination, which some people say they're stubborn, they're strong willed, but that's determination. Because when you're trying to make changes that last for years and legacy, you have to have that determination. So, barrier breakers are special people. And once they get that through our coaching, by activating your strengths and purpose at ASAP, they embrace that. And it is such a thrill to see them just flourish in terms of barrier breakers. So, the other thing as a life coach and mindset focus, I always say never put a period where you can put a comma and the word yet. And that means I'm trying something new, and you may say, well, I don't know how to do this. If you put a period there, that makes it permanent and for the rest of your life. But if you say, I don't know how to do this yet, that's the term of a barrier breaker. That says, I'm willing to learn. I'm going to try this challenge and I'm going to grow with each challenge. So I would like to invite you to join me at www.breakingbarriersasap.com, and we can do a consultation and we can decide, do you want to move from where you are to where you want to be?